Something.
A friend of mine recently started working with an organization called Sower Seeds. This organization helps with many different types of need throughout the world, and one of these types of need is the sex trafficking that happens in India. Sex trafficking in India has become a bigger and bigger problem, and it won't be fixed without the help from others. The website of Sower Seeds talks about how there's only about 1% of victims that get saved, and they call on us to help them recover more. Sex trafficking is one of the most painful forms of slavery, and it is up to us to try to help stop it. Well, together we'll be talking about first, how and why sex trafficking happens, how painful and hurtful it can be to those who are in it, and how we can help stop it. So it's hard to imagine why anyone would enter into these situations, but those reasons exist. Women are either put into the situation forcefully or willingly, and those who enter willingly do have their reasons for doing so. The article, Why Reasons for Women's Entry into Sex Work, a case study of Kolkata, India, by Sunny Sinha, in the Sexuality and Culture magazine, written in 2015, talked about the reasons why women would enter into sexual slavery. And these reasons usually have to deal with poverty or financial hardship. Many of these women didn't have the basic needs throughout most of their life. They struggled to find shelter or to find food, and so they saw this as their only way out of their situation. Other women are forced into this lifestyle, usually by family members or someone else. The article Exploring Needs of Sex Workers from Kamathipura Red Light Area of Mumbai, India, written by Lindsay Gazinski and Shrivari Karindikar in the Journal of Social Service Research in 2013, talked about how these women usually come from really low income backgrounds, and their family members see them as another way to make money. So they sell them into this lifestyle and just take the money, and these women are forced to live there and to be treated as sex slaves for a long time. And now that we've seen why women end up in sex trafficking, let's look at the impact that it can have on their lives. So these women are forced to deal with the problems that come with sex trafficking for years after they've been through their abuse. And one of the main ways they're forced to deal with it is health-wise. So physically, they have to deal with many of the diseases that come with living in the sex trafficking world. The article, Sex Trafficking and Initiation-Related Violence, Alcohol Use and HIV Risk Among HIV-Infected Female Sex Workers in Mumbai, India, written by J.G. Silverman and many other authors, talked in the Summit Journal of Infectious Diseases in 2011, talks about how women that are coerced or forced to live in this situation are a great deal more likely to be exposed to sexually transmitted diseases like HIV. And these diseases will follow them for the rest of their lives. So they're forced to live with these problems even after they are rescued or saved from the sex trafficking world. And another way that these women are hurt is emotionally or mentally by the stigma that surrounds other women that have already been defiled as virgins. The article Rescue and Rehabilitation, a critical analysis of sex workers' anti-trafficking response in India, written by Veronica Major in the Science Journal of Women in Culture and Society in 2012, described the stigma of being a defiled virgin as the worst possible stigma for anyone to have. So even after having to deal with the trauma of living in a sex trafficking world, they are still forced to deal with not being treated well by family members and by those surrounding them because of how they're seen. And now that we know how detrimental this can be for women, we can begin looking at ways that we can help. Efforts have already been made to try and save these women and to try to help anybody that's dealing with sex trafficking. The article, Sex Trafficking, Trends, Challenges, and the Limitations of International Law, written by Heather Smith in the Human Rights Review in 2011, stated that the passage of the UN Protocol to prevent, suppress, and punish trafficking in persons, especially women and children, in 2000 marked the first global effort to address human trafficking in 50 years. And since the passage of the UN Protocol, international organizations, non-governmental organizations, and individual states have devoted significant resources to eliminating human trafficking. So with the passage of that protocol, began many other attempts to try to help with trafficking. And with the UN started it, but it started to trickle down, and many other organizations have started trying to help. which leads us to how we can help as individuals. The Sower of Seeds website has a specific cause for this called Project Red Light Rescue, and they updated it in 2015 where they talked about how we can help as individuals. And by providing and giving money, donating money to them, they provide not only the rescue of these women, but a place for them to rehabilitate and to re-enter into society with a better mental state and physical state. And the way that we can help is by donating money to organizations like this who are willing to help these women and to help them be rescued and rehabilitate and kind of find a way back into normal society. So, helping women in these situations is something that we need to do if we are able. To conclude, it is important that we realize how detrimental sex trafficking can be and how we are an important part of fixing this problem. First, these women do not choose this lifestyle, or if they do, they feel like they have no other choice. Secondly, this lifestyle can have continuous effects even after these women have left it, and things that will follow them for the rest of their lives. And lastly, we are a very important part of helping to solve that problem. Living in this country, many of us will never have to experience this type of slavery, but we have to realize how painful and scary it is. So we need to look at these women as if we know them personally and do what we can to help save them.
Oh gosh. I don't know.